What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Trent's Garage. In this episode, we are going to be doing some pretty heavy cutting, moving, demolition. Basically, the old frame off of the Toyota is going to be getting cut into pieces and disposed of today. Also, I've got some shipments that came in that are going to make today's video actually a little bit more exciting. All right, so maybe it's not that exciting, but this is the new oil pan for the transmission that goes in the Toyota. The old one, I mean, I guess I could just show you. So the old oil pan is completely dented, and I'm not exactly sure how that happened or if it was actually gonna change anything or cause problems with the pickup. I'm just not sure, but I figured I may as well just get a new oil pan that wasn't dented. And then in this box right here is a full master rebuild kit for the transmission. I am not a transmission technician. I am not gonna try and rebuild this automatic transmission for the first time when I'm gonna try and put a bunch of power and big tires into this thing. So I'm taking this and the transmission and everything down to a transmission shop, and they're gonna rebuild it for me. So if you guys caught the last episode, you probably saw that there was a ton of junk underneath the frame right here. Now, most of that was the IFS suspension, all of the shocks, a bunch of different things. The gas tank was here. So I emptied the gas that was in the gas tank, and then we took all of the metal and plastic and rubber and just all the garbage that was here. We separated it into two piles. I took all of the rubber and the garbage to the dump, and I took all of the metal to a metal recycling place. Now, that was a really, really nice move because now we have all this space to work back here. I think I do need to take the hitch and the bumper off of this frame first.
What is that?
Here, catch.
Wow.
Somebody's necklace.
Trent, you gotta keep this and hang it from the rear view mirror when you're done.
Yeah, right. It's
What do you
probably a
mean?
bad luck crystal. This guy crashed super hard.
You know, this was probably from the person before him.
Someone probably put it in there to sabotage me.
Ugh.
All right, so we actually had a follower who was concerned about us. Now we do have a fire extinguisher in here, but it is kind of small. So he sent us two big fire extinguishers that'll put out everything that water won't put out. And his name's Bob, and I just wanted to say thank you so much, Bob, for sending these fire extinguishers. It's really, really generous of you. And before we start cutting with the plasma cutter and doing extensive amounts of throwing sparks and cutting, I'm gonna unpackage these fire extinguishers and stage them in case you need to use them. Could be it today. All right, now I've got everything completely cleared away. Our fire extinguishers are set up. Our dogs are actually in the house. I do realize that there's a giant wall of cardboard boxes over here, and I'm gonna do my best not to plasma cut or blow sparks in that direction because I don't want those boxes to catch on fire, which could definitely happen. I know a lot of people have been worried about that in the past. But now we're gonna wheel the plasma cutter over here and get to work.
You might think you'll see me falling to the ground, but I threw up my umbrella when rain starts hitting down. On a bad day, on a good day, I don't need no sunshine, 'cause I'm dancing with
All right, now so we don't have a teeter-totter action, let's cut the front off.
I might be insane. I don't need no sunshine to keep me going strong. I just need my happy face to keep me moving on.
head is on that gas can.
All right, we made pretty quick work of that, and now we just need to get all of these pieces loaded up into my truck so that I can take them down to the recycling yard, and then we'll have a space where we can actually start fabricating our tube chassis.
Wow.
It's really exciting.
Seriously.
I think this is the heavy piece.
It is.
Well, now that the frame is completely chopped up and removed, there's a few things that are really, really cool about this. One, I can lower the body all the way down to the ground. Two, I can get to the top of these body bolts so that I can cut them off and get the heads out of there. I have new bolts and new nuts ordered from a Toyota dealership. Those should be here in a few days. Once I have those, I can actually mount the body mounts on those bolts and nuts, and then I can start fabricating the frame. I'm gonna do that in a few days, hopefully in this video, but for right now, we're heading to the valley and I'm taking you with me. No, sensor right there. Real shop in here. I just push. Yeah, these guys are gonna grab a dolly. We're here at Intermountain Transmission Exchange. They're gonna rebuild the transmission for me, but I brought my own parts because I wanted to get the kit that I bought. And he's gonna come out, check out the transmission, make sure we have all of the parts that we need to do the rebuild, and we'll be on our way heading to the machine shop. One of those things. All right, well, that's pretty promising. Just got some information about the automatic trans that they're going to be rebuilding. Kind of trying to decide on whether or not I need to put a new torque converter in it. I really don't think I do because the truck didn't like stop working. There wasn't like a transmission issue. So I don't think I'm gonna replace the torque converter, but they're gonna rebuild the transmission so I don't have transmission problems once I start spinning those big tires and put the supercharged motor back in. But now I need to go back to the machine shop. So I dropped the block off at a machine shop, but I didn't bring the main caps, mostly because I didn't know, but also, you know, maybe I'm just an idiot, I'm not sure. Wow, it looks like a brand new block.
Pretty close, huh?
Dang.
He got my oil pans and my timing cover cleaned up, so that's really good. Also, he was already starting to work on my block, and now he's saying, I'll see if I can get it done next week. When I came a week ago, he was like, it's gonna be a month. So I'm glad that the pace is picking up a little bit. I can get some parts ordered for this thing, and hopefully we'll be rebuilding it in a couple weeks. All right, it is another day here in the shop. As you guys saw earlier in this video, we got the frame completely sectioned off and disposed of, and now we are going to start fabricating the rest of the frame. So I'm actually gonna start taking some angle measurements here. We're gonna pull out our 2x6 tube over here. We're gonna start cutting it into pieces, welding it up, and hopefully by the end of the video, I'll have 2 frame rails in the right shape. And it'll be kind of ready to be installed. I doubt we're gonna install it today, but at least we'll get it cut and welded together.
Are you nervous?
For what?
Have you done this before?
No. I mean,
Me either.
I've cut tubing and welded it together before. I have not built a frame. I've built an exo cage, like an exo roll cage.
Okay.
So that's kind of like a frame on the outside of the vehicle, but this is way more simple than that. This is just cutting some angles and welding tube together and just making sure that it's flat and straight. Guess we just gotta get to work. All right, so Brandon's gonna be over here cutting off the body mounts, all of the body mounts. The sleeve is seized to the bolt, so he's gonna be cutting off those bolts, and hopefully we can make quick work of that. I'm gonna start getting this tubing laid out, start getting our angles cut so that we can start welding the tubing together in the shape of our frame. So for the main section of the frame, I'm gonna be using 120 wall 6x2 rectangular framing. It kind of resembles the original frame off of the Toyota. It's not as like out of control and weird shaped and beefy as the original frame, and it's also fully boxed. The original frame from the cab back was just a C-channel. So this is gonna be fully boxed. Once I get these angles cut and welded together, it'll have a flat section with the jog. It's gonna catch all 4 body mounts that are gonna hold the body onto the frame. And then we can start doing all the round tubing and the tube work off of this like base frame. The frame actually needs to have a 5-inch jog, so the frame's gonna come back here like this. It has this 30-degree angle. It goes up 5 inches and then a 30-degree angle to cut it back flat again. At the top of this is where that back body mount is gonna mount. Our front body mount is gonna be down here. We'll do some cross bracing in between, a skid plate underneath, and then all of our tube can go off the front and the back. Now that I got these pieces cut, the frame rails are in the shape that they need to be in. Now I need to take a grinder, clean up all the edges that I'm gonna be welding, tack them together, make sure everything's good, and I can burn them in. All right, so I've got all these pieces laid out, or at least for this one frame rail. I've got all the edges ground. I just got to pull out the welder, put some tack welds on there, make sure the angles are good, and I can fully weld it. One side will be kind of done. Yeah, there's all types of equipment for welders.
That's a stylish hat, dude.
It's like a weird, you know, like little kids when they used to have the hats with the propeller on top? It looks like I'm wearing one of those backwards.
Yep.
But this is a welding cap, and it's designed so that spatter will land on this and not go down your shirt. And then it gives you something that your helmet doesn't have trouble like clamping onto, but it also protects the top of your head from spatter. I like wearing a beanie because it's like warm, but when I put my beanie on and then the hood on, the strap on the welding helmet like slides all over the place.
Put it on for the video's sake.
That's Darth Vader action. There it is.
Here's my welding cap.
Just giving her the old eyeball, seeing if it's straight.
Yeah.
The thing about this is like, yeah, it would be imperative if this was perfectly square and true and there was no issues in it whatsoever, if this was like a NASCAR race car or something crazy. But in reality, a rock crawler, like your suspension geometry needs to be set up properly, but if your frame is a little bit crooked or a little bit twisted, the differences that it make will actually be pretty marginal.
What do you see?
30 degrees right on the money.
Nice.
If I couldn't do that, I shouldn't be doing any of this. we've made quite a bit of progress in this video. We got the frame completely cut up and disposed of and taken to the recycling yard. We got our 2 frame rails cut, ground, welded, ready to be set up with the body mount so that we can start squaring everything up and getting the full frame kind of like welded up together. It's a lot of progress. If you guys enjoyed coming along on this adventure and you want to stay tuned and see what happens when we start fabbing up the rest of the frame and building the rest of this monster truck rock crawler, make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't. Like the video so that I know you guys appreciated it, and leave me a comment letting me know whether you guys think I'm doing a good job or if you think I'm doing something wrong. Thanks again to everybody who's watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next one.